All right, everybody. Well, we are at the shop. It's actually on a Sunday. You might recognize that little car right there backing out of the trailer. We're going to be doing a little work for Vice Grip Garage as we get ready for Bradenton Cleetus and Cars next weekend. So let's get along for the ride. I got to get my keys so I can get in my shop. Be back in just a second. Door when you're getting out. Hey, perfect timing. Or you can let it roll forward a little more and it might help you with the door. Or can you get out there? You hear our fuel pump running.
Door locked.
Hey, if it works, it works. Custom.
Yeah.
All right, so we got her tucked in for the evening. It's Sunday. I'm going back to hang out with my kids for this afternoon. All right, let's switch to Monday morning. All right, everybody. Well, we're back the next morning, getting ready to do some work on Vice Grip Garage's Independence Chevelle. So we ask that while you're here, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I feel like we're doing some pretty cool stuff around here with all the different cool projects we get to work on, maybe stuff you don't get to see every day. Kind of the inner workings of a race car shop, but also, you know, fun stuff like going to the track and doing silly things like the burnout competition at Cleetus and Cars, which is this weekend. 2.4 hours of LeMullets. Myself and Taylor Ray going to take on everybody else that's racing it. We're bringing home the W this time, dadgummit. Came close last time, till right there at the very end. And then I got spun out 3 times in the distance of a lap and a half. Anyways, let's not get into that, but I'm gonna try and repeat the Freedom 500 finish instead of the last year's 2.4 hours of LeMullets. Anyway, back to Chevelle. So you might have seen, I got a bird in my shop. Anyways, so you guys might have seen at one of the events, I think it was Cleetus and Cars Bradenton, Derek had a sniper on this with the Pro Charger, and I'm not gonna lie, those can be a little picky. Like, they're kind of prone to RFI interference if you don't have the wiring absolutely perfect in them. And even still, like, even comes down to like what spark plug wires you use, they're just picky. So if the computer picks up any kind of interference, starts reading that the RPM trace is really weird, and then when there's a drastic increase in RPM, well, it's trying to add fuel because it's bouncing around in the fuel table, even though the engine is not actually doing that. So they end up just running really bad and fouling plugs, and you got to really do some homework to try and get rid of all that. So over the winter, he upgraded to Holley's multi-port system on it with a 4150 throttle body. So a lot better of a setup. It's got the HP ECU in it, and we're gonna do some tuning on it. Go through and do some of our other tricks that we do on these things when we get them in. Kind of a quick look over, and then we're gonna get it back to the dyno. But yeah, we've got a few little things to do. So I was looking through the tune and saw, I think there's some better ways to do the safeties. So we're gonna do some of that, as well as probably create a fuel system more like I did in the Dale truck, where it's basically impossible to starve the main engine fuel pump of fuel. So let's get started. See if we can make Independence work a little bit better. All right, so one of the first things I noticed when Derek was pulling the car in, kind of sounded like the timing was pretty late in the exhaust. And just, I guess when you're around cars, kind of pick up on stuff like that, especially these domestic type deals. He also said that after it ran for a while, the header started to glow, which is another indication that the timing is really late. So the first thing I'm gonna do is plug into it, see if I can get it to crank up. I'm actually going to do a data log from a dead cold start so that I can get all that information in one data log, let it fully warm up. Also do a static timing check while it's warming up so that I can kind of get an idea and get the timing back where it needs to be if it's wrong. So let's get it fired up, start doing some tuning. All right, let's see what we get. So timing was off by 15 degrees. I had the timing in the computer locked at 34, but on the timing light it only shows 19. So what we are going to do, and yeah, the fuel pump's running. So in the rush to get down here, Derek didn't have time to wire up the new fuel pump because it's big boy fuel pump and needs some extra relays and stuff. So we're going to fix that while it's here. But let's go in. Actually, you know what? Let me shut that off. Ow. somewhat of a cold start now that I got some of my tuning stuff in it. So another thing I'm going to do is the table was tuned in pounds per hour. I prefer volumetric efficiency. So I'm going to do some rescaling on the table. Now that I've got kind of a good idle and a good startup tune, make it easier for me to transfer the table over without starting completely over at square one. So I'm going to work on that for a little bit, and then we'll try another start here in just a minute. All right, let's see how close my volumetric efficiency table is. Have to do some tweaking on it probably, but see how close she is. Look at the log and see where I can make some changes to make improvements. All right, so reviewing the data log, I had just a little lean spot, like right as I was cracking the throttle. So it would kind of have a little, and then it would finally rev. So I did a little tweaking on the fuel map to where as soon as the vacuum goes away, when you crack the throttle, you know, you open the throttle up, you lose the engine vacuum. So made it to where it's quite a bit richer when you crack the throttle just in the base map, so I don't have to rely on the accelerator enrichment, which is the fuel that it injects based off of the rate of throttle change. So should be better. Guess we'll find out. seems a lot better. So I'm gonna look at that data log and then probably be ready to do some of the wiring stuff on this thing, and then we'll get it onto the dyno. Dyno won't be this video though. All right, well, I don't know about you guys, but rarely does it happen where your day goes exactly like you think it's gonna go. You can see it's getting late. I'm actually about to get out of here for the night. But got some good bass tuning done today on the Independence Chevelle. Pretty happy with that. It's been sitting out there now for about 4 hours. Haven't messed with it, so about to crank it out and drive it in. But figured I'd show you guys a couple other neat things we got going on a couple of the other projects. Travis has been working on wrapping up the core support finally, and yep, we took it all the way back apart. So part of building these things, we always knew we were going to add some kind of filtration apparatus before the turbos, and I've got an idea to drive this thing to Bradenton this weekend because the car's built for a drag and drive event, right? But we need to test it. Sean's got some plans for this weekend, said we could go test the car, and what better way to put a real good test on it for the drag and drive events than to get it ready to go, hop in it, and drive 3 hours to Bradenton. So that's kind of our idea for that. We'll have this on display in our merch booth, provided that we get the last of the filtration setup done. But basically this goes in here like so, and we've still got to build something to catch the filter and make it where it's removable, because we're not going to run the filters at the track, and that panel that goes up here makes it to where we'll be able to pop that off. Probably have 2 bolts in it here that either catches the top, maybe catches the side. Haven't exactly figured out how I'm going to do it yet, but we're going to do it. And then we've got some boxes we're working on. Let's see, I think he's got the boxes. Yeah, here's one of the boxes. Is this the passenger side? Yeah. Yeah. So this dealio goes here, and then off the back of it will be a tube that comes down, and it's going to have a V-band in it so that it is removable, because you don't want to always have to, just the pipe from the filter down to the turbo needs to be removable, so we can get in there and do that. So that's got a little bit of work to go left on that. But once we get that done, and then it's bolt the front end back together, drive it to Bradenton, do some testing, move some things around. Obviously slid mullet up under here because mullet's transmission may be here Friday, may not be here until next week. So we're not getting it down for the test this weekend at Bradenton. It's just how things go sometimes. We did get our drive shaft in. That came quick from PSD. So it's another carbon fiber shaft. This car's just at the power level where I completely think a carbon fiber shaft makes sense. And if you guys didn't know, a carbon fiber shaft, when it does fail, it kind of just explodes and turns into dust instead of being a piece of steel that's in there framming around in the car, destroying the entire underside of your car. Sure, some stuff will get damaged and tore up if you break a carbon fiber drive shaft, but if you bend or have a failure with a steel or aluminum drive shaft, it tears up all kinds of stuff. And with all the wiring and plumbing and everything that's under mullet, we don't want to have to do all that stuff again. And we got some more stuff done on Jimmy's, which I don't guess you can really see from down here. Basically, we got those verticals welded in. There's a vertical that goes from here up to the bottom floor bar there. That's all welded in and done. And if you saw my Instagram, I was twisted upside down running the pedal between my knees. I know some of you guys that TIG weld like the little finger controls. I can't wrap my head around using one of those. I've just been so used to doing it with a foot pedal for so long. I keep saying I'm going to try the finger throttle again for the amperage, but I haven't done it yet. Maybe we'll get back to it one day, or I'll just keep doing it the way I know how to do it. So Rick's Camaro about got the radiator in. See, we're using a little small aluminum radiator. So the fan's mounted to it. I just welded the bottom mounts to the bottom of the intercooler. And then tomorrow, CJ's got a couple of more pieces I got to weld to the radiator. And then this bracket right here, is that how it's gonna go? I forget, he showed me earlier and I think I've forgotten. But we're gonna make that work one way or the other. Maybe it was just this side. Yeah, okay. So that's what we were doing over here. And then over there, I think we may have to remake this one to angle it down. Like we'll take a pie cut out of the bottom, so then it'll have a bend in it. Because obviously we want it to clear we need to clear the fitting there, and that's not quite enough room for me in getting that 16A in onto there. But basically just got to make a hose from here to there to the other side, put the fan on, finish the fan wiring, and then we've got a 4AN line that'll connect here to the expansion tank, and that will complete the cooling system. And I still have to do an alignment on it. So the front end that Rick got for the car has tons of adjustability in it, and that initial alignment takes a pretty good bit of time because you've got to take the control arms loose and actually shorten or lengthen the control arm with the rod ends that are on the end of the control arms. Just takes a little while. So once we get that done, probably get it on the dyno next week. I know we were kind of rushing to get it done for the 352 shootout, but didn't happen. And that thing's been, it's like one step forward and then one step backwards a couple times on some different things. 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards, but it's getting close. But let's see how Independence cranks up now that it's got a little tuning done to her, or him. I don't know if it's nice to call a car a girl when its name is Independence. The Freedom Machine, how about that? This is something we're gonna fix tomorrow. Fuel pump on. All right, no pedal. Let's see how she do. Not bad. And this thing's got a big old hog of a camshaft in it too. Turn fuel pump off. All right, so if you guys didn't know, on some of these real trick aeromotive pumps, this wire connects to your TPS signal and gives you the ability to ramp the fuel pump up even harder. And I saw a couple little things I needed to fix under the hood, just to tidy up some of the wiring and reroute the fuel pressure regulator boost reference so that we see vacuum under vacuum, and then when we're making boost we see boost. But all in all, things getting really close. I think that'll wrap up this video. Appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. Ask me some questions down in the comments, and we've got a pretty good list of questions for the Q&A, so it might be something we do one evening coming up. Be a good thing for me to do while I got my girls at home. But we'll get that done. We'll see you guys next time.